Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Vroom podcast. It is your host, Fernando Mercado, and we are back. I was gone for a little moment. So sorry. I had to take a break for a second. I had just life stuff and um honestly, doing this is pretty terrifying. I'm trying to say something really serious, and my cat right now is deciding to mess with his toy. I'm just gonna do one of those. All right, now he's gone. Great. um, yeah, I guess I doing this has been particularly vulnerable. The last several attempts have been kind of uh scary for me. I don't know why. I guess I can't articulate it fully yet. I mean, this is obviously a particularly vulnerable thing to to do these videos and put myself on the internet talking about racing, especially as a new fan. But I am having fun doing it, and I think anytime you're doing something when it's scary, my cat is still just going at it, bro. He's still just, hey. I have to kick him out for real. I have to literally play catch with him like a dog in order for him to relax. Hopefully he chills out over in the corner. But yeah, I just I've been trying to kind of make sure and think about how I'm doing this, and I've been having fun, and I think I'm just trying to focus on that. And I think I was trying to say before, if it's scary, it's probably right. So I'm just going to keep following that intuition and that impulse. And so here we are, back at it again, another weekend. We're getting an episode on a Saturday this time. And this isn't like our usual race breakdown. I have done like an into the weekend video as a part of the podcast before, and this is kind of that coming back. I'm trying to do both a race breakdown in the middle of the week, end of the week, and then we'll do an into the weekend, usually on a Saturday post qualifying for Formula One. And if I can't do that, then I'll try to get the episode done on a Friday before qualifying. Just saying like what I'm kind of thinking about going into the weekend, what I'm looking at, what are my predictions, so I think anything surprising is going to happen, and then hopefully we can kind of talk about that together. Y'all can let me know what you think in the comments, and we can watch and be surprised on Sunday, because nothing ever goes according to plan, and we're going to talk today about F1, and it certainly did not go according to the plan. So yeah, it's an exciting time for racing. The Formula One season is starting to go into their summer break post this race. NASCAR is coming to the end of the regular season for them. And IndyCar's only got 3 more races left too. So we're coming up on the kind of cold period for racing. So yeah, it's gonna have a lot of fun talking today. First up, we got the F1 Hungarian Grand Prix this weekend. What's at stake? What's at stake coming into this weekend? Well, Oscar leads Lando by 16 points. It's a very razor-thin margin between both boys. And, I'm trying to not touch upon qualifying yet. And, again, my cat, he's just having a moment. I don't know if he wants to hang out with me, if he wants to leave, but he's just going to be chilling now. But yeah, Oscar has been, obviously we've been debating them all season long, who's faster, who's more consistent, yada yada. I mean, even the conversation at this point is kind of pointless, right? They're both peak, top of their game. They both have their off weekends, and usually when one's off, the other one performs better. I mean, who's been more off? I think Oscar's been a little more off as of late. He's kind of put his foot back on the pedal, though. He won the last race, so that certainly coming off of that win is going to make him feel better going into this one. Hopefully. And then we got Max, who's only 65 points behind Lando. And that's a semi-considerable amount, but we know Max to kind of make miracles. That Red Bull car obviously sucks, and we're not really going to see much pace out of that. especially for Yuki. But again, Max performs miracles, and sometimes he finds a sweet spot with the car and the track where he gets the most out of it. And now he decided, we're no more stipulation on his career. He's going to stay at Red Bull for the next season. So there's some sort of belief that the car can get better. I'm assuming that this year they know it's in the tank and they're going to have to better make the car for next year. But I'm imagining that we still want to get good laps, win races, still try to get second in the Constructors' Championship so we can have some money to build said better car. So, yeah, I think Max, we can't ever really count him out of a race. Summer break after this, like I said, that's an important little tidbit because obviously they're going to have a break, and then we have the second half of the season. I don't remember how many races it is, maybe 5 to 8 races, something like that. It's a considerable amount in order to be able to kind of catch up. So this kind of race is important because it sets you up for after. It's important, just like the All-Star break in baseball and MLB. You want to kind of have a couple wins set up so when you come back from the break, if you're kind of having a rough period coming back, you're not throwing away your whole season. I think that we want to kind of approach it like that. We want to have amassed some points, caught up, put ourselves in a better position, at least even feeling better in the car. So that way when we come back from the break, we can kind of launch off and go farther. So I think that's kind of what's at stake here this weekend. For the teams, track story. This is one of those tracks where it's really important where they start. I'm not some sort of track or racing expert, but I do want to try and talk a little bit more about analysis. I want to kind of break a little bit into that and try and, even if I'm wrong sometimes, I want to push myself. I want to try to think more like that. So you might start hearing me bring up some stuff like that. But yeah, it's important for the teams to make sure that where they're qualifying is up top, because there's not really any straights. There's the one straight kind of going back to the start, but other than that, everything is twists and turns, kind of like their old karting or karting tracks. So it's really difficult to overtake in these cars on these tracks. So they're going to have to make sure that they hit up qualifying. And I think on top of that, you got the strategy with the pit stops. I think pit stops are going to be important because of the fact that you can't really overtake on this track. The undercutting is going to be something we might see a lot. They might try to pit early, get on better, maybe get on softs. I'm really interested to see what tires they try to start the race on, because we saw today that the tires were getting eaten up on track. They barely would last a full stint, some of them, mostly because they're driving it so hard along these turns. It's kind of hard to keep the tires, especially the softs, alive, essentially, through the track. So that's going to be kind of the interplay between the tire management and the pit stops, and seeing if anyone actually is brave enough to do any overtakes on this track. I don't think we're going to see very much of it. I think a lot of the excitement is going to be on pit road. And kind of now going on that, talking about qualifying, because I essentially, I have some predictions, some momentum players, but qualifying kind of threw everything out of whack. So let's kind of just jump in and talk about what happened and my predictions in the comparison, right? Well, first off, who's hot? I kind of predicted a little bit of it. Hot, we got Oscar. I would say after qualifying, it's not hot. Just to kind of go over what happened, we had a very exciting Q3 where Alonso pretty much split the McLarens before they went out. He put up a really crazy lap and made second, and then obviously as it went on, Alonso kind of kept down, but we got a really great lap from Leclerc, an all-star lap where he was the fastest and took provisional pole ahead before Piastri, Lando, or Max could finish their laps, but none of them were faster. Oscar and Lando could not improve their times, and Lando could only make third, and then Oscar took second. And then, I think George came in fourth. Max came in eighth. It was not a good day for Red Bull out there, because Yuki got out, I think, Q1, maybe? Maybe he made it past Q1. I don't remember, but he definitely didn't make it to Q3, so it just wasn't a good day for pretty much everybody except for Charles. He kind of had a great day. Gabriel Bortoleto also had an awesome day, making it to Q3 again. But I mean, I have to kind of tip my head to Charles Leclerc. He's one of my favorite drivers. I think he's a great personality. Like he's funny. He has he seems like a nice guy in terms of he's really passionate about racing, and I think that's that makes him kind of mean on track or when he's driving. But I think that he has both sides. He has that like cutting edge that you want from a driver, but he's also seemed pretty docile, and I you kind of root for him because he's this person from Monaco who has won his Grand Prix before, and he's a part of Ferrari, intrinsically a part of Ferrari. I mean, they're just perfect for each other. It's like a perfect match, and you kind of want to see him win a championship with him. So I kind of want that for him. So I certainly root for him whenever he's around. And I also had him hot on my momentum players here. He's gotten 3 podiums in the last 5 races, and no question that he's gotten the most out of that Ferrari. It's definitely tuned more to him than Lewis has gotten tuned to his car. And he showed it today. He was very surprised that he took pole, but he took pole because he found the right flow state, I guess, with the car. And it was pretty happy to see Ferrari have a good moment there. On the other side of that coin, who's really cold? Lewis Hamilton is really, really cold. I think that he's super uncomfortable in that car. Got out in Q2. Yeah. I think he made it only to Q2. Which is, he should be in Q3. He shouldn't be even if he hadn't even made it past Q1. I mean, that's even worse. I think that marriage is not going well, and he said over the radio, it was like every time, and it's like, every time he tries, he puts the most he can in that car. He just can't get anything out of it. It's always just short, and I don't know what's wrong. I don't know if he knows. I don't know if Ferrari knows. It's kind of like something is just wrong on that team. And it sucks because I love Lewis and I want to see him win. I do. Do you want to see the same winner again all the time? No, obviously we're going to be very happy with an Oscar Orlando championship win because that's still where it's going, right? That's going to be new, a kind of new stat. But again, seeing someone who is so high, and someone who deserves it, just point blank, out of any driver I've ever seen, out of really almost any athlete I've ever seen, deserve it more, what he has built for himself. Lewis is one of those who has just contributed not just to the sport, but to culture and to the world. I mean, I feel like, to me, someone who adored Virgil Abloh and looks up to him as an artist, as a designer. I think that Lewis kind of takes on that mantle in his world. I don't know. I don't think we're ever going to get another Virgil, right? But if you hear Lewis talk, and if you see what Lewis has done, not just for his industry, but for culture itself, it's so significant. It's reverberating and felt in the whole world. And I think that you want to see that Ferrari matchup work, because wouldn't it be so beautiful? Wouldn't it be fate, right? And we're just not getting that. So, sad. Hopefully, maybe he does better in the race. They usually have better race pace than they do qualifying pace. That only Charles qualifies well in that car. None of them can. No one else in that Ferrari. No one else. The only other driver is Lewis. But yeah, that's what I thought. Wild card, I had Haas on here. I'm going to change my answer in a moment, but I put Haas because I read a quote from their principal, and it was like, we know that the car has pace and we just haven't maximized it. So we're going to have to try and do that this weekend. And I agree that car obviously shows pace, like Esteban Ocon's kind of really good performance last weekend is proof of that. And they've found some qualifying pace. And I think that Haas car is good. It's fallen back in terms of where everyone else on the field kind of was. I think Sauber and Aston Martin are the teams that have picked it up. But, I had them as my wild card for that reason. But now I have Aston Martin as my wild card, because both Lance Stroll and Alonso made it into Q3. I don't remember where they have placed now, but both making it into the top 10. I mean, that's the best result Lance Stroll has had all season. And Alonso was able to make second provisionally for a moment. Almost took pole by a couple hundredths of a second. So, yeah, that car is going insane right now. It's going crazy. Go stupid. And my predictions for the race. Teehee. My prediction was that Lando wins. And I was 9 out of 10 confident on that. Because he won 2 of the last 3 races and is pretty desperate for another win, especially going into the break, closing the gap to Oscar. I still think he's going to win. I'm a little less confident now. I maybe am a 7 out of 10 now. 7 out of 10. Because Oscar has gotten in front of him. And so I think that it's going to be more like an undercut situation where he does that instead of overtaking him on track, unless the first, unless they get off of a restart, or they get off the jump off the first lap. I love the lapses in my thoughts. I just take long pauses. I'm sure all of you have noticed, but yeah, it's just what I do. Just had to comment on that as I'm doing it. But yeah, off the first lap, if he can get a good jump, maybe he can get in front of Oscar. But I think it's going to be more of an undercut situation. And I think he can do it because I feel like Oscar seems uncomfortable at this track. I don't know if he seems to be in his element as much as I've seen him in other weekends, just off of qualifying. So maybe Lando can kind of be on top here in that sense, put on a good lap while Oscar is in the pits. Maybe he can kind of come in. So that's what I'm thinking. That's my prediction. An upset, Max could be a crazy upset. I feel like that's Max is kind of someone who has gotten really smart in the sense that he puts himself in a good position. If chaos kind of ensues, he'll just be there. He has done that through the season, on top of putting just incredible laps, like we saw in Suzuka. But I think that Max could potentially, if this race goes to crap, because there's also the weather might just go kind of change on us and we might get rain. I know we almost saw some rain today, but yeah, Max could just put himself in a good position if he keeps the car in the top 5 in third place, especially. I feel like he could get an upset win here. My bold prediction was that at least one Haas driver in the top 5. A bolder prediction would say that they're both in the top 5. However, and even my new bold decision will be that you will see 2 Aston Martins in the top 5. That's my bold prediction. I think that they can somehow manage it. I think that somehow if that car has good pace and they have a good strategy and Lance Stroll doesn't crap out in that car, or Alonso doesn't crap out in that car, sometimes the car just stops working for some reason. We saw that earlier in the season, not so much now. But yeah, if everything goes swimmingly and they execute on that plan, I think they can do a top 5 moment, both of them. So yeah, that's my thoughts for Formula One. Yeah, it's gonna be a really, really exciting race tomorrow. I'm very interested to see how all this goes. Now on to NASCAR, because that's the other race that we have this weekend. We are not going to have an IndyCar race, so we're not going to talk about IndyCar. We got our Iowa race. We have our race at the Iowa Speedway this weekend. It's going to be a fun one. We just came off of a Bubba Wallace win, which was awesome. I did watch I have kept up with the races, even if I haven't done the videos. I've even written out most of the episodes that I've missed. It's just been, fear in life. But, I think that having Bubba win, I think was emotional. Not in the sense that I cried, but I think it stirred me because to see someone obviously have so many failures during the season rise above. And Bubba Wallace, being a person of color and, winning one of these crown jewels. And I don't know. I think that, again, we don't typically see that. It is rare. And it is kind of the way it has been. It's fine. Right? However, seeing someone like Bubba win, just like seeing someone like Daniel win, seeing someone like Miles Rowe win in Indy Next, it always does something to me. And I attune myself with Bubba's story and with what he stands for, and he seems just like, I don't know, just like this mature driver now. Not that he wasn't mature before, but getting to see how he felt after he won and in his interview, and he couldn't believe it, but he believed it. I think it was inspiring for me also as someone who is aspiring to do something with their platform. Yeah, obviously I do this, but I'm an artist. I'm an actor, playwright, director, filmmaker, and these are all things that I do for my life. This is including that now, and I hope to transcend what I do, and I hope to inspire, and I hope to be able to make change in the world. And I to see people like Bubba, who obviously makes an impact, and just winning these races and being in the place that he is and having the people who have supported him do that, to see him do that, to see the way they support him, and just see him on that platform and winning at all, and being there, that's important for people, and it's powerful, and I love to see it. I love to see it. I love to see a Bubba win. So yeah, hell yeah, Bubba Wallace. He's definitely on my hot momentum check over here, but we're gonna get there. We got 3 spots left in the playoffs, though. Right now, Buescher, Bowman, and Reddick got the positions, and Reddick is pretty strongly in. So is Bowman and Buescher, but you got drivers in the bubble like Preece, Kyle Busch, Ty Gibbs, who just won the in-season challenge, and AJ Allmendinger, they all would also like to make a playoffs. Everyone else is kind of, you're going to have to win a race, to be honest. They're going to have to win a race. But these are kind of the drivers we're looking at. So it's kind of win or go home at this point. It's not, there's nothing left, right? We're coming on to the end of the season here. So it's make it or break it time for these drivers. Kind of going into the track now. Track DNA, it's less than a mile short track. We saw Iowa when we had an IndyCar race. I believe that is the race where Joseph Newgarden got screwed over not once but twice. Screwed himself over. No, I think actually the car just crapped out on him and just didn't work, and he got crashed into one of those times. But yeah, I think that was one of the races that Pato won. Pato just won, just took that W there from him, which was fire. So yeah, that's that. We have seen Iowa already this season, so we're back in NASCAR. Less than a mile, mucho scary. Track position is king because it's scary. It's a scary short track, and this isn't like IndyCar. These cars ain't built slim like that, and these are big old cars, so it's really important where they start. And then tire wear is also going to be crucial. I do know that this track got repaved. Not everyone's super excited about that, so it's going to kill the wheels. So they're going to be watching that. And obviously the stage strategies for the resets coming off of pit road is going to be really important because, again, since track position is going to be king this race, it is going to matter when they come off of and start up on the resets. So, and I am sure we are going to see caution after caution, wreck after wreck. So definitely this race is going to be won in the restarts and who is going to not wreck. I'm pretty sure that's where it's going to come down to. So, momentum check. Bubba Wallace is hot off of his Brickyard win. I think he's got his confidence back. I think we're going to see him in the top spots now. I don't see him falling back unless... If he has a bad outcome on this race, I do see that shooting his confidence way back down to a point. I don't know if he's going to get back. However, I think right now he's off of a good win, so... let's keep that momentum. On that, Ty Gibbs, he won the challenge, won $1 million, is feeling incredible about himself. I don't see why he won't come in on a short track where anything can happen and possibly position himself, be aggressive, and maybe get his first career win. So I think Ty Gibbs could be a wild card, an upset this kind of race. However, my real wild card is going to be Ryan Blaney for this race, and I'll say Ryan Blaney has a tendency of executing a perfect race when everything kind of goes to hell. He tends to position himself well. And I think he's had a kind of a hard string the last couple races. Not everything has gone exactly according to plan. He's in a Penske car too, so you expect him to pretty much be up front all the time. And so I think that if everything goes to crap, the person most likely to be right place, right time is going to be Blaney. And so I'm going to predict that Blaney's going to be our winner here. I'm only 6 out of 10 confident on that, so don't quote me on this. But I'm just going to go with my gut. I'm thinking Blaney's going to have a good time. We'll see how well that ages, but yeah, here we are. Another person I see that could possibly be an upset would be Bowman. I see Alex Bowman as someone who's also really consistent. He's had some top 10s recently, and I do typically see him up front. So I feel like if he can have a clean drive and also position him well, he's maybe second on my list to be an upset. I also realized I didn't say who was cold in my momentum check. I will say Kyle Larson has been pretty cold, and especially in the Brickyard, he was up front, bro. He was up front. I don't remember if he was in first. I think he was in first, and then he crashes out and ruins his race. And he's just kind of been dejected. I'm not mad to see someone so cocky with himself just crapshoot, and I can be like, put your money where your mouth is, sir. Like I am not typically a huge fan of cocky people, mainly because there's a difference between confidence and cockiness. And I think he's on the side of cockiness, and it's normally because I don't like it, because you normally don't have a lot to back you up. Now, Larson, let's be frank, he is one of the most exciting drivers on the field. He has created some of the most iconic recent NASCAR moments, and he's an incredible driver who's certainly, gone in his roses. No reason to count him out for any reason, or to say that there's nothing to back him up. However, I do think that his cockiness, he rests on his laurels a little bit too much, and I think here we are, because I haven't seen Kyle Larson this season, so and watching him just kind of like crash that last race, I was like, yikes, bro. So I think he's hella cold. I think he needs to step it up, especially because he says some, like he hasn't even been able to really step it up in Xfinity recently. Now, obviously, at the beginning of the season, things were different. It's not like Kyle Larson isn't going to come back. He's still an incredible driver. I just, I see him down right now, and I hope that when he comes back up, which inevitably will, he's a more mature person. That's my hope. I hope that he learns a lesson from the failures. But we'll see. So that's our episode, guys. That's all I had for today. We had a lot of fun, I think, talking about NASCAR, talking about Formula One. It's going to be a really good weekend. I'm going to try to do all of these little episodes. They're going to hopefully be typically shorter than our regular race breakdowns. But yeah, let me know what y'all think is going to happen in the comments below. Please like, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening to the podcast, please follow the podcast. Please listen to us on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Anything y'all do, if you made it this far, I appreciate you. Getting to do this is a lot of fun, and knowing people watch for even 2 seconds to see my dumb face on camera or listen to my really funny voice is really appreciated. So thank y'all. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in our race breakdown. Have a great day.